Hi everyone! In this video we'll be talking about how to help a student prepare for transferring to a university or to another school. The first thing that we want to do with a student is really talk about what their career goals are, and is the degree they're pursuing here at LCC, does that match what their career goals are? Or does that match what will help them get into the bachelor's degree that they're going to need for those career goals? This is where we want to have a little bit of knowledge about the different careers that are out there, and if we don't know, based on what they're interested in doing, where to go to find out that information and gather it and help the student. We have a career center here on campus in the admissions building who can help a student, especially if they're unsure, or if you think the career they're interested in doesn't really match what it sounds like they want to get a degree in. Definitely get them connected to the career center. They have different assessments that they can help a student with, which will show example careers, and then it will also show the degrees that are needed. So we don't have to be the experts here, but we should be as knowledgeable as we can be, and at least, if nothing else, refer them to the career center to help a student kind of narrow that down. The next piece to helping a student transfer is encouraging them to begin searching for their school early. We have transfer fairs here on campus. We have one every quarter. We have a transfer fair in fall, winter, and spring. So university representatives, usually admission counselors from each of those schools, will be here on campus in one location. This can really help a student who has questions for schools but maybe can't physically go visit the schools. They can come to these transfer fairs and get their information all in one place. Now, if a student is able to visit the schools personally, I highly recommend that. We have just begun student trips on the LCC campus, sponsored by ASLCC, thank you. We are taking students to different schools around Washington and Oregon, starting with Washington. So we'll take students down to Washington State, Vancouver. We'll also do an Eastern Washington sweep to Washington State University, Pullman, Gonzaga, Eastern, Central, and also Western Washington as well, such as Western Washington University and University of Washington in Seattle. So students have opportunities to visit these schools without having to pay anything. They just need to be watching for those, and we'll let everyone know when those events are happening so you can let your students know to sign up. There's also the TRIO program. If you haven't heard about this program, it's a student support program here on campus specifically for students who are thinking about transferring. If they meet the qualifications, they can get connected to a TRIO advisor. These advisors really help one-on-one. They meet with students regularly, such as once a month. They are there for academic support, advising support. They can help a student figure out where to transfer. This can be really great as a dual advisor role, you being the faculty advisor or their main advisor, and then a TRIO advisor really helping with the transfer piece. It is important for us to know about the school options that are around here, but again, we don't have to be experts. We just need to help the student navigate the system. This leads us to the next step for helping a student planning to transfer to another university. Doing the research. So now that they know maybe some schools that they have an idea of where to go, do they know the school's deadlines? Do they know the requirements for the application? These are all things that are available on each school's website. They can also be asked when they're here for a transfer fair. Meeting the deadlines can mean the difference between receiving free money for school versus not receiving free money for school. For example, financial aid. If a student misses any deadlines for financial aid, that could be the difference between thousands of dollars in Pell Grant money, state need money, that they would have received if they had met the deadlines. Deadlines are crucial for helping a student transfer. They don't want to miss these deadlines even by one day. That could really mean the difference between them being able to transfer and not, and pay for school or not. So knowing these deadlines, they are available on each school's website. So if you have a chance to help them navigate these sites, show them what you would do. Take them to the website, navigate around, find the deadlines. The schools at the transfer fairs will also have these in their brochures most likely, but in case a student is still 2 years away, you can already find those deadlines usually on the school's website, or you can contact them directly to find out. It's good to do this early planning so that they're not missing anything. The next piece for transferring would really be getting connected to that school right away. So yes, there's information online, but actually getting connected, whether it's requesting information on the school's website or getting connected to that admission counselor so that you can ask those questions and know what the deadlines are, know what's expected from you, is really critical. The next piece would be applying to the school. Applying early enough so that students don't miss the deadlines. So for example, if a student is planning to apply for a school and start fall 2020, they would typically be applying for that school fall 2019. Not all schools are that early, but most of them are. Their applications for fall open up the year before. So letting students know that should at least be on their radar by then. That's really critical. In terms of applying for schools, we have set up events on campus. We just started in 2018, college application days. So if a student doesn't feel comfortable applying for the schools on their own, maybe they don't know all the questions that might be asked or the answers they might need, they can come, and we do this in the University Center, to a college application day. Advisors, including TRIO, are all here to help a student apply for schools. We can sit down with them at a computer and walk them through every step. In terms of applying, a student may apply as a transfer student. Our typical traditional LCC students may apply as a transfer student, but we have a lot of Running Start students on our campus, and because they're in the Running Start program and finishing high school, they are looked at by the university as a freshman. They are applying to a university as a freshman even though they may end up there as a junior in their program. It's a little bit tricky. Because they're finishing high school, they'll apply as a freshman. They will also need SAT scores, personal essays, high school transcript, plus the LCC transcript. So it gets a little bit tricky. If you have any questions about helping a Running Start student, you can refer them to the Running Start office. Also, the advisors here in the Entry Center can help as well. Just know that a freshman application is typically those for Running Start. Those who are out of Running Start and have been taking classes after high school for a year should typically be filling out the transfer application. The next piece that will help a student in terms of transferring is ordering their official transcripts. Part of the application is that school receiving a transcript from all the colleges that they have attended. LCC, any other schools that they've attended after high school. If a student has taken any AP exams in high school and might have scores for that, they'd want to send over those transcripts to the university as well. Once they receive the transcripts, that completes their application. Once a student has been admitted to the school, they will then need to confirm their admission through the school. If they are receiving financial aid in terms of Pell Grants or state need grants, likely they won't need to pay a tuition deposit for the school. They can ask for a waiver. They can ask that that deposit on their admission be covered by financial aid. Not all students know that this is an option. They get overwhelmed when they're admitted by a school who now says, okay, we now need a $200 deposit to save your seat. That can be really overwhelming if a student doesn't know that there is an option to ask that financial aid cover their deposit. They just need to ask. The next piece for transferring is making sure they've met all of their requirements here at LCC and then applying to graduate here at LCC. If the student is planning to complete their degree at LCC, they need to apply to graduate at least a quarter before they plan to finish. The registration office will then do an audit of their degree and confirm everything they need left to complete their degree. We have seen all too often that a student applies for graduation in what they thought was their final quarter, realize that they still need a humanities course, and they're not going to graduate in the time that they thought they would. This is really disappointing for students, and we don't want them to fall into this. The final thing when a student is transferring is sending over their final transcripts. Once they have completed all classes, they've finished their degree, it has posted on their transcript, they need to send that final official transcript over to the university. This shows that the degree has been completed or the final grades have been posted for the final courses that they're taking here. Some students don't realize that they also need to send that final transcript after everything's been completed as well. I hope this has been helpful in helping a student who is planning on transferring to a university. Please let us know if you have any questions.